what happened was, hold on. This video must be getting like long and juicy because I ran out of storage. So I'm back. I hope you guys can see me. Okay. So what I was saying was, of course we have disagreements in our relationship, but we were not that relationship that scream and holler and cuss. You know, we were more like, let's talk things out, blah, blah, blah. So I always said that once you start hitting in a relationship, it's over. Like, it's a wrap. Once you start fighting and hitting, it's kind of like you could bust out into a fight at any time. When I was in relationships with my kid's dad or whatever, we had a lot of abuse. And when I say abuse, like, if he didn't like something, he would hit. So I always promised myself that I ever got in a relationship that I was happy with, I would never hit. Because once you hit that one time and you don't stop it, like, it's like you would bust out into a fight at any time. So I was always that person, we don't hit. So now she's telling me that I poked her in her eye and she's screaming like, oh, my eye, my eye. And I'm like, okay, I didn't mean to poke you in your eye, but I need answers. And I need answers now. Like, I need to know right now what was going on in that room. And I'm not accepting that y'all were drinking. I'm not accepting any of that because I found all this stuff. Like, the bed is full of blood, like a murder scene. What did y'all, like, were y'all, I can't even, like, the thought of trying to picture it makes me sick to my stomach. What was going on while she was on her cycle? Because that is disgusting. You barely even know her. She had literally just told me that when she went on a cruise with her parents, she met a guy and a girl and she slept with them both unprotected and she had just met them. So I'm like, and by the way, she got the guy's number and was still talking to the guy behind the girl's back because she was like, I don't want the girl. The guy was fine. Okay, so that was just a part of her character. That's who she was. So she just had sex with somebody on a cruise, no protection, and she's on her cycle, blood all over the bed. What could have possibly been? So now I'm just like, no, I need to know. I need answers. Come on now. I need to know what's going on. Wake up right now. Get up. And she's, you scratched me in the eye. I'm over here feeling sorry for her because now I didn't sit here and poked her in the eye, not realizing that she's deflecting from answering the question. So she's looking me in my face and she's like, Cindy, I got something to tell you. I was like, okay. She said, I don't know what happened. I was like, what? I blacked out. I don't know what I was doing in there, but I could tell you now, I would never do anything inappropriate. I would never do that. She was like, she admitted to taking the unprescribed drugs, pills, and she admitted that she had mixed alcohol with it, a lot of alcohol, and she blacked out. She was like, I don't know what. All I could tell you is I didn't do anything appropriate. So I'm like, if you didn't do anything inappropriate, then why? If you didn't do anything inappropriate, why was the door closed? Why would you even go in there? Like, what? I just still have questions. She was like, no, I did ask her, if you can remember that you did nothing inappropriate, why can't you remember anything else? So at this point now, I know something happened. I'm texting Tricky Trina. I'm like, we need to meet up now because my ex is saying she don't remember anything. I need you to tell me what happened. Do you know this helper gonna tell me? Girl, I've been taking vegetables and everything trying to remember, and I just can't remember nothing. She was like, all I know is when I woke up, you were in the room questioning your ex, and I think she might have did me something. I'm like, so you think my ex did you something? She was like, yeah, because think about it. I'm in the room by myself, sleep, and I wake up. I say, your panties were behind the bed. Yes, that's the thing. I wake up and my panties were gone. I don't know what she did to me. I feel like I need to know what happened too. So I'm like, oh my goodness. My ex is not the type of person to rape nobody, right? So I'm asking my ex, are you sure what happened? Because now she's accusing you of maybe coming in there, touching her, raping her or something. Like, now I really need answers because this is not making any sense to me. And then at the same time, I'm feeling like a horrible friend because, oh my gosh, what if my ex was so messed up that she went in there and touched Tricky Trina. And I'm accusing Tricky Trina of something going on, and maybe she was really asleep. All kind of stuff is going through my head because I'm actually really at this point believing my ex based off what my son said. He was like, Mama, she been getting really loaded lately. Like she would fall down in the hallway. He would have to bring her to bed at night. Like she had been doing so much stuff out of the ordinary. Okay, so she did have like some weird behavior. But I didn't think it was enough for us to, I thought that she had just started drinking a lot. So I know you guys are thinking like, I gotta be stupid. I realize in life that it's never a good thing to judge anybody because you never know what you'll do in a situation. Had anybody told me this story 100%, I would have said, are you crazy? All the evidence was there. Why you didn't do anything? But when you trust somebody wholeheartedly, like it is really hard to, it's really, really hard to just like, you trust somebody wholeheartedly with your life and they look you in your face and say, I don't know what happened. All I know is I say, well, if you don't know what I did ask, if you don't know what happened, I asked all kind of questions. Like, guys, I literally have like a 10-minute video, a 5-minute video of me just asking all the questions. I recorded me asking her these questions because I needed to go back and listen to it to make sure I wasn't crazy. I'm like, so if you didn't do nothing wrong and you were completely out of it, why didn't I walk in on you sleep? Why when I walked in, you were acting like you were turning a TV? Like I had so many questions. But it all bowed down to, I had that woman in my house. I knew what type of woman she was. And I knew she had seduced my ex. And I'm not giving my ex a pass, 100%. I don't care what you were on. You made a conscious decision to go in that room. So you still were wrong. However, ain't nobody coming to my house and steal nothing from me. So as I'm asking Tricky Trina questions, I'm like, we need to meet up, blah, blah, blah. Tricky Trina said, I want to read y'all our text messages. She said, I can't believe that you're accusing me. You my sister, and now you're accusing. I'm going to read some of the text messages to y'all. Hold on one second. But I just really got to get into this video. Gosh, I want to read them, but it's going to make the video so much longer. My grandson has a doctor's appointment in like 1 hour. So let me get into it. So she was telling me stuff like, I can't believe you're accusing me. I feel like you're trying to end our friendship over speculations, stuff that I would never do, blah, blah, blah. I can't believe your ex walked in that room on me. Instead of you checking on me, you are accusing me. So I'm feeling, now I don't know what to feel because my ex is saying she blacked out. It's kind of like now their stories are kind of collaborating or whatever because Tricky Trina saying she was asleep. My ex saying she don't know what happened because she blacked out. But for me, I 100% in my mind now feel like Tricky Trina tried it. The only reason why I'm talking to her is because I'm trying to get her face to face. I know without a doubt if I look in her eyes, I can see straight through her evil spirit. Like I just kept saying, come meet me, come meet me. She was like, well, I don't feel comfortable meeting you. Why? You said you were going to fast. I said, well, we don't have to drink. Let's meet for coffee. Oh, no, I feel like when I talked to my mama about it, she told me that I should not get in it. Y'all trying to bring me into this drama. I got a text right now on my phone. I can show you guys all the texts where I said, how is it drama when I'm just trying to get to the bottom of something? If you're really my friend, if you're really, really my friend, then why won't you ease my mind? Why don't you meet up with me? She was terrified to meet up with me. She was just like, So again, I knew it was her again because you're terrified to meet up with me, right? So I was like, okay, cool. But in my mind, I'm thinking, I ain't giving my ex no pass. But I'm not about to end my 18-year relationship because now we finally got a hump in the road. Actually, I started to think like, you know what? We needed this. I know it sounds crazy, guys. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm just telling y'all my truth, what I was thinking in my mind. because our relationship was so non-confrontational, we were so comfortable with each other, it made me look at her and realize I love her. I don't want to lose her. And definitely nobody, this devil not about to come in my house and take my relationship. I'm not giving up this easy. This is our first time ever having an issue in our relationship, and I'm not going out like a sucker. My ex came and told me, she was like, I am so sorry. I don't know what made me go to that room. Can we please just go to Mexico or something? Mind you, our anniversary was coming up. Our anniversary was in 2 weeks. She was like, let's go to Mexico. Let's just go this weekend. Let's go. Let's get away. She said, I just wanted to be me and you, blah, blah, blah. So I'm knowing she feels guilty. We even sat down and talked, and I said, you don't have to tell me what went on in that room. Just please tell me that it was something inappropriate so I'll know how to handle that other person. And she said it was inappropriate, but she still couldn't remember nothing. She just know, and she feels that it was inappropriate for her to go in that room. She never blamed Trina. As a matter of fact, she was still taking up for Trina because she started saying, I was wondering why when I was talking to her, she wasn't really answering. I want to know, so is that the reason why you laid in a bed with her? I'm still trying to blah, blah, blah. Again, at this point, I really don't care what happened. In my mind, I have made up that Trina tried to come on to her. Trina and tried to seduce her. That something happened in that room, and I'll never know the full details. But what I do know is I'm not giving away my relationship this easy. We never had issues like this in our relationship ever. And whatever happened made me realize that I can lose my girlfriend. Whatever happened made me realize that now I need to open my eyes and start paying more attention to bringing people around my relationship, blah, blah, blah. But there's no way possible that I'm going to let this girl win, or I'm going to break up with my partner because of this. That's not going to happen. So I end up telling her, well, we can't go to Mexico this weekend because I had already promised my sister I would keep the kids. She had work. And I was like, but I will schedule us for the following week, which our anniversary was in 2 weeks. So it would all work out. So in the meantime, I just tried my best not to think about it. I went back to cooking. I went back to cleaning. I went back to going to work. I just tried to get back to normal as possible. And in this small period of time, me and my ex are spending time together. It's kind of like we were teenagers again. We were spending time together. I wasn't really a drinker like she was. I would drink, but she told me, she said, I asked her what are some of the things I'm trying to get to know what she liked, what I did wrong. She was like, well, you go to sleep early. So I'm trying to stay up late now, having a drink with her. We vibing. We're trying to reconnect because I'm trying to figure out what, if we never had this issue in all of these years, what in the world would make her do this? Is she losing interest in me? Have I become such a family woman that I forgot to be a wife or a girlfriend, right? So our spark is back. I mean, we having a lot of sex, right? Crazy. Like we having sex like every night. It's crazy. And I mean, in the car, on our car rides, even I never forget, my daughter came in town, and my daughter walked in a room one morning. We had to hide on side the bed like little two teenagers because we had been, and my children, they so used to being able to walk in a room because it's like we never really, even though my children grew up around both of us. Hold on. Okay. I just felt the need to fix myself. I've been sitting here so long. My children, they saw affection. They saw us kiss, hug, love on each other, but they never really had to knock because, we'll be in the bed if we knew that we locked the door if something was going on or whatever. But we just had to hide on side the bed like two teenagers. We had literally became back. Whatever we were missing in our relationship, that spark came back. So bam, it had been like a week and a half. And we were just really, again, I'm not stupid. Something happened in that room. Again, I 100% feel like I know my ex. I know her. She may have went in that room and something inappropriate happened, But in my mind, she didn't, it wasn't her seducing. She was drunk. She was taken advantage of. And not giving her a pass, but I'm not about to lose my relationship over this, okay? Anybody who have dealt with this, then y'all understand what I'm coming from. I know it's going to be some girls in the comments that's going to say, oh, no, I would never. And I get that. I understand, because I probably was that girl who would have said that too. But again, when you're in a situation, you tend to not, you never know what you'll do unless you're in that situation. So bam, about a week and a half out, she came home one day and she looked at me. I could tell that she was being weird. Like, she would do stuff like, she told me one day, Kaiser wants to go to Nikki's house, which is my sister. I was like, okay. She took Kaiser to my sister's house. Mind you, my ex don't ever go anywhere without me. It's always like we went places together. I might go places without her from time to time, but she never went places without me. That was crazy. Especially to my sister's house, where she's an introvert, so she don't even socialize like that. In my mind, I was thinking, they trying to get their story together. So I was like, when she come home, I'm going to tell her stuff like, yeah. Now, mind you, I'm thinking that we good, but at the same time, I'm a woman. So every now and again, I still pick a little bit. I would say stuff like, I'm going to find out one day what really happened. So whenever you want to talk, I need you to remember as much as you can, because it's going to come out. You know, I would say little stuff like that. So what I'm gathering here, not gathering, I end up getting proof. So she come home about a week and a half later, and she looks at me and she says, Cindy, really? I'm like, huh? She looks at me with a look that I have never seen her look at me that way in the whole 18 years. Mind you, we were dating or liking each other or friends for like a year and a half before we actually moved in together. We were living together for 18 years, but we were kind of messing around dating prior to that. But she was in a relationship and I was in a relationship. So we would just flirt. We were friends. So out of all the years I've been knowing her, I never in my life saw her look at me like that. She looked at me like she hated me. And I was like, oh my goodness, what's going on? So later that day, she walked back in there and she said, oh, so me and my friends had this joke where it's a joke between friends. I would be like, oh, I want some, and I'm going to get some tonight, because they would always tell me, girl, you ain't had a man in a long time. You need to get some. It was a joke between friends. You know, we're never the way with our friends that we are with our spouse most of the time. You know, that's the time we get out, we have fun, we laugh, we whatever. So I looked, I'm like, how do she know that? Mind you, Trina hadn't been around since me and my friends made up this joke. We had this, okay, so me and my friends had this joke for probably like the last 3, 4, 5 years, right? But these are my real friends, my real friends who I've been having since I was like elementary, middle school. And it's a whole group of us. But Trina was a friend like that. I didn't mix them. Trina didn't have any friends, none. Every time she got a friend, she would they would fall out. Of course, that was a red flag in itself. Now, when I did have parties and stuff, they would mingle then, but we didn't hang out. You know, these are my friends who I do everything with. They're like family. This is Trina, who I consider a friend, but I began to get them mixed up. I started thinking, because these are my friends and they so loyal, that Trina was like them when she wasn't. She was an outsider and she should have been treated as such. My fault again, my mistake. So she would come home and she was like, oh, so you said this. And I'm thinking, damn, I only say that around my friends. But mind you, when Trina came back around this time, I said it a few times around her, because like we went out to eat. We went to eat one night, the night before my birthday. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get something. It was a joke, but because maybe she didn't catch the joke because she's not in my other friend group, but I said it around her. But at this time, I had completely forgot that I said that around her. So I'm calling my friends. I'm calling all my real friends, like, are y'all talking to my ex? They were like, no. Are you talking to my ex? No. I'm calling everybody. I said, y'all, I'm not accused. They was like, you know, we would never. I said, man, she's knowing stuff that she should not know. Like, she's asking me stuff that she should not know. And I was like, she knows something. She's getting it from somewhere. Maybe she felt guilt for what she did and she started digging into my life. I don't know. So I'm asking my ex, where are you getting this stuff from? She was like, oh, I searched your phone. Mind you, we never did things like that. We never checked each other's phones. So now I'm looking through my phone, like deleting everything. I'm trying to find out what could she have looked, what could she have saw. I'm like, man. So then, bam, she come home like 2 days later, and she's like, oh, it was this guy who I was talking to because he had booked my daughter for a few events. Real nice looking guy, handsome. One time he booked her for an event, and me and my ex was together, and she was like, do you know him? I was like, yeah, like because he went through me. I sent him to my ex to book my daughter. But we really wanted to go to the event. So, I mean, we went with my daughter to the event. So he was there. I was like, yeah. No, she was like, do you know him personally? I said, just talking on the phone with him or whatever when, you know, he reached out to me for my daughter, Dee. She was like, so has he ever been appropriate with you? I could tell, like, he was such a handsome man and he did try to get a little bit inappropriate with me at one time, but it never went anywhere. So, but women, we have intuition. So she picked up on that immediately. Anyway, she had asked me one time to make him unfollow me or block him. I was like, I'm not, because it's nothing happening. I put him in his place. Nothing's happening. Whatever. But, okay, I'm not perfect, right? I kind of like the attention a little bit. And like I told you, my ex-mama had been in and out our personal business and whatever. So at one time, 2 years prior, when me and Tricky Trina was still cool, we went to an event of his because, mind you, he was like 2 years before any of this happened. We went to an event in his that he threw. He invited my daughter to host one event, but then when he gave his next event, me and my friends went. Tricky Trina was there. So I was like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. You know, it was a little flirting here and there, blah, blah, blah. But nothing ever happened. Like I never kissed him. Come to find out, he was married. I never kissed him. And he was really, really, really spiritual. Let me throw that out. He was a real spiritual man. And he told me out his own mouth that I'm like, well, how you flirt with me? But then he turned around and say that he would never cheat on his wife because he made a promise to God. No matter what he wanted to do, he made a promise to God. He was like, I don't even like my wife. So my promise is not to her. My promise was to God. I told him that I would not, have infidelities or whatever anymore because of their past. He was like, he told God, if you get me through this, that if you get me through whatever he was going through, that he would never cheat on his wife, blah, blah, blah. So he was a real spiritual man. Nothing ended up happening. It was a little flirting or whatever, and it was inappropriate on my part. But mind you, I'm with my friends. You never think that your friends are going to go back and tell your person. Like, no, that's not going to happen, right? So, bam, she came home one day and she was like, I knew something was going on with you and Mike. I was like, what? Huh? She was like, yeah, so she started saying stuff and I'm like, hold on, guys, let me get a little bit more comfortable. Because my feet was cramping. Hold on, let me get this a little bit away from my mouth. She was like, hold on. She was like, I knew something was going on between you and him. I'm like, so bam, again, I immediately start calling my friends again. Immediately I start calling my friends again. I'm like, y'all, are y'all sure nobody's talking to her? So bam, I went on ahead and bit the bullet, even though I said I wasn't dealing with Trick and Trina anymore at all. I'm like, one of my friends said something that had nothing to do with being related to the situation. Because mind you, at this point, I didn't tell anybody what happened with Trick and Trina walking in, with me walking in on them or whatever, because I didn't even want nobody judging my relationship. Only person I told was my daughter and my son and my daughter-in-law. Those are the only people who knew. But the fact that somebody was telling my ex something, like I was trying to get to the bottom of it. So I ended up calling Trick and Trina. I was like, are you talking to my ex? No, I texted her first, and she texted me back and said, you are the one who told me that your ex would never talk to any of your friends. Didn't you say that? I said, I said that. She said, well, she would never talk to me. So why would you ask me that? I was like, okay. Now she's getting the information from somewhere because this information is accurate, right? But then she got other information behind it. It's like, okay, now you're going too far. Some of this information is true, but some of this information is completely false. Like whoever giving you this information, they got hidden agendas because now they making stuff up. Like, what? She even accused me. She was like, oh yeah, so tell me which one of my friends you messing with. Oh, friends. First of all, you ain't got no friends. Second of all, that is gross and disgusting. I would never in life. So now you're making stuff up. But I could see how my ex would think that this stuff is true because you done got some true stuff that's mixed in with some stuff that's not true. And you're getting it from somebody who supposed to be my friend. So you think you got a reliable source now, right? So my ex just coming home every day like, just looking at me like she hates me. So mind you, the very first incident happened on the night of January the 6th, moving into January the 7th. Now a whole month has passed. It is now February the 6th. But she started coming to ask me stuff like, okay, no, our anniversary was in February. So it was a whole month out. I was having the dates a little confused in the beginning. So now it took her about 2 full weeks to start asking me stuff. And our anniversary is coming up in 2 more weeks. So when she started asking me stuff, this created so much guilt inside of me. I could not sleep. I could not eat. I found myself crying. Like I didn't know what was going on. I was like, man, things had just got so good after she did what she did. I literally forgave her and blamed myself. And on top of me blaming myself, I wanted to work on my relationship. So now I'm in here just like, okay, what do I do? What is happening? She came home one day and I didn't know she was home early and I was in the tub naked crying. She had turned off her location. We don't even check each other locations like that. Well, I don't check hers. But she came home one day and I asked her something about where she was or whatever. She was like, oh, because I turned off my location the way you did. The night we went to this guy's event, I turned off my location because, of course, I didn't know where I was. I was doing something wrong. I'm admitting that. I'm not, like I said, I'm not perfect, right? But how did she know I turned off my location? Because when I came home, she asked me why was my location off. And I said my phone, where we were, it was in a bad area. She was like, oh, okay. I said, so the lie I told her, she turned around and she said, oh, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I was in a bad area. I'm just going to tell you straight up I turned my location off. At this point, I was just asking where she had been. I never thought to even check her location, but she wanted me to know I turned my location off, just like you turned your location off that day. So I'm like, now I want to go through her phone. I'm like, I need to go through your phone, right? But she changed her password. I'm like, what is going on with us? Where is this stuff happening? I'm at this point now, like I said, I had saw something that was completely not related to the situation, but I saw it on the internet and it says, you keep your friends closer, you keep your enemies closer. And it rung a bell like, okay, right now, I really feel like Tricky Trina is my enemy, but I got to pretend to play nice with her because I need to find out if she's the one who's telling my ex stuff. Because mind you, even though I know what I did was wrong, I had a certain way about myself that I love my ex so much. I never wanted her to think bad about me. Our foundation I thought was so tight that I never even want you to look at me in no other eyes. I always loved the fact that she looked at me where she trusted me, where she, we could go. I used to like to go to the casino. I could sit at the casino overnight and she wouldn't even call. It was kind of like She knew that I would never do anything to cheat on her. I love that about her. So the guilt was eating away at me that I had disappointed my ex. And I knew that the guilt was eating away at her in the beginning, that she had disappointed me. So I was like, what is going on with us? Just help me understand. Like, I'm crying. I'm not eating. Like, it is bad. So bam. I did a thing, and I don't even know if I'm incriminating myself with this one. I probably shouldn't even say I did it. But I was walking in my closet one day, and I saw something. Prior to a few years ago, now mind you guys, when the incident that happened where Trina was with me, where whatever, that happened a whole 2 years ago. That just goes to show you how me and my ex, we didn't have these type of problems in our relationship. That was a whole 2 years ago, okay? So bam, I came home one day, I looked in the closet, and I saw this thing sitting there that we use in meetings for work. And it records 1,100 hours. And it only records when it hears motion. So you can put it somewhere. And as long as it's sitting there, it won't pick up anything until it hears motion. I thought about it and I said, no, Cindy, no. This is invasion of privacy. Don't do it. But guys, here I am. I'm hating myself. The guilt is eating me up. I don't know what's going on in my relationship. I can't even bring up the fact that I caught her in the room with Tricky Trina, with blood all over the bed and sheets messed up. I could clearly tell that they were rumbling around and probably doing God knows what in my grandson's bed, which grossed me out. Like, the thought of it made me cry over and over and over again, so much that my eyes were permanently swollen. Like, still today, this has been months ago, and I still feel the bags under my eyes. So it's like, now I'm filled with guilt, shame, that now it's not just you, it's me too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, let's go take. I didn't set schedules for lie detector tests. Go to lie detector tests, because I could tell you one thing I never ever did, and I'm not a saint, but I never had sex with nobody. Okay, never ever had sex with nobody besides you. So I was like, let's go take a lie detector test, because whoever's telling you this, they're adding so much stuff in. Like, I never slept with anybody now, but the guilt is eating away at me, because now I find myself defending myself versus trying to fix what happened a few weeks ago, right? Now, she's not really going to work. I'm going to, mind you, I worked in her office for 17 years, okay? Not just worked in there, like that was my full-blown job. I did have a full-time job, but when my daughter had my grandson, I quit that job so that I could work for her full-time and still have, because we could bring my grandson to the office with us, and I paid my dues to society. I raised all my kids. Why am I working 2 jobs now? I might as well quit one, work for her full time. Plus, I'm helping her in the office because her grandfather had just got sick. Mind you, she comes from money. Her family is wealthy. And we're going to get into that too. A lot of the reason why a bunch of stuff has happened. So I decided, okay, I'm like losing my mind now. Imagine me being in a house. I'm all these different emotions going through my head. It's a brand new year, right? So much stuff is happening, like it's making my head spin. It's moving so fast. I don't know if I'm going or coming. I'm just literally losing my mind. I have never in my whole entire life felt so empty and so confused. So I left home one day. I threw the recording in the basket under some clothes. And I left it there, okay? The only time I would come in and turn it off is like when I get home, because I'm home. And I just didn't want it to keep picking up on our conversations. So I would turn it off, maybe when she leave out the room or whatever, but then I would turn it back on. I was getting up every morning, going to the office, working, And she would come to the office maybe around 10 or 11 o'clock. Now, we always did get to the office at different times, but she had started coming later. And then she would stay at the office later. So this went on for, of course, like I said, like 2-3 weeks. So I know something is weird. I know she's talking to somebody. Her behavior is completely different. She's looking at me different. She's coming home looking at me like every single day that she came home for like a week. Almost every single day she had a different story about something I did. And I know without a fact, because the stuff would be kind of true, but it'll be so much added on to it. Like, oh yeah, you was with this dude. Yeah, we went to his event. But she was insinuating like that we had slept together and stuff. I'm like, but you're wrong about that. So anyway, it was so much added on stuff. Now, bam, I would put the recording in, but every night I would just pray and pray that things get better. I just said I was not going to listen to that recording. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not listening because there's invasion to somebody's privacy. If I'm trying to work on my relationship, whatever happened, I don't need to know. And in my mind, I was still thinking that maybe it's a blessing that everything I did came out. I just need to be able to prove to her that it didn't go any further. So let's do a lie detective test. Let's do whatever you want to do. I can prove to you that I never had sex with nobody. I may have talked to people. I may have did stuff around my friends. I'm not perfect, but I never slept with nobody. Like I was very, very, very intentional, and I pride myself on not doing that for sure, because I never wanted nobody to ever be able to come back and say that they had sex with me. Okay, so bam. One day I came home and she was gone. I was like, oh, no. Okay, wait, no. Okay. Bam. One day I was at home. I was fixing my grandson's, my grandson had a project for Mardi Gras. Mind you, we're early February now. And her and I were supposed to put this project together to do it together because it was such a big project. We had to do like his float, all that kind of stuff. So I'm calling her like, hey, have you left the office yet? Because we got to get this project done, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just in there. So she told me that, oh, I got a lot on my mind and I just need some time. I just need you to know I'm dealing with a lot and I just need time. I was like, okay, fine. She came home at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, when did we start doing this? You know, this is crazy. When did we start coming home at 1 o'clock in the morning? So we kind of talked about it, went over. I asked her where she was. She said, I fell asleep in the car. I just really needed time to myself. So I went to the gas station and I'm thinking all this new information, whoever's giving her. Now, she told me she was getting stuff out my phone. So at this point, I'm guarding my phone, like going through everything, trying to make sure, looking at everything. I don't see nothing that could have incriminated me, but maybe, right? Somebody's telling her something. So I'm thinking that she's heard all this bad stuff about me and she just needs time to be alone. So surely she's not doing anything. She's leaving here. She's not going to a club or nothing. She's leaving here in basketball shorts and a t-shirt. So my mind is never going that she's cheating on me. But then the next night, she tried it again. And when she came home, I did something so crazy, guys. I looked in her pants. I opened them up and it was like so much white stuff. Like she had just like skeeted or something. I'm like, what is going on? I said, is that nut? She was like, no, I always have that in my panties. I'm like, that's nut. So I was like, you are cheating on me. And she was like, no, I'm not, blah, blah, blah. I swear to God, blah, blah, blah. So bam, we get a third night. Guys, this is out of control at this point. I'm sitting in the car. It's like 12 o'clock at night. And I'm crying, like just crying. I'm like, because my grandbaby in there asleep. My son's at my house this night. I don't want nobody to know what I'm going through. So I am crying my heart out, like, just like, God, what is going on? God, help me, reveal to me, tell me what's going on in my relationship. She's not answering the phone. I'm calling her back to back. Next thing you know, you could tell I was crying so hard because I didn't even realize she had opened my door and was standing in the door. So I was like, where were you? She said, I'm going to be honest with you. I said, okay. She said, I just can't handle all the stuff that I heard. And I just been parking my truck, just spending time to myself. Now, mind you, this is what I'm thinking. Me and her have been having issues about her drinking, right? So I'm 100% thinking she is covering up because she's been drinking a lot and she wants to go to the store and get those bottles after I told her to stop drinking. And mind you, I found the pills in the bed. She's trying to get high and don't want me to know it. So she's pulling her car over at the gas station or whatever, sitting in there, listening to music, drinking, getting high because she can't do it at home. So I'm like, all right. So she walks in the house and she leaves her phone in the closet. Bam, I'm walking in the closet again. She goes in there, she puts her stuff in the closet, she go get in the bed. A text message come through, bing. I'm like, my antennas go up because you said you were sitting in the car. Why is your text message going off this time of morning? So like she had went, took her shower, everything, and left her phone in the closet. So I grabbed the phone. And guys, you know how if you send somebody a message, but you delete the message, it was a voice memo. She never sent me a voice memo her whole life. I didn't know she know how to do that. So this is obviously something that she had learned. So I noticed that somebody hearted the voice memo. So I'm like, wait a minute. I look at the phone number. It's Tricky Trina phone number. So I asked my ex, I say, why is Tricky Trina messaging you this time of night and you literally just got home? She was like, I don't know. So I looked, I opened up the phone where her and I was sitting there together or whatever, and she was trying to prove to me that she didn't know what was going on. She was like, see, look, I didn't text nobody. She even went in her deleted message. She was like, see, look, I didn't text nobody. I said, but if you sent them something, because it said the hearted a voice memo, but the voice memo was gone. So obviously you sent a voice memo, you deleted everything, and she hearted it when you walked in the house. And you didn't think that she was going to heart it, so it didn't show me what you sent her. She must have sent her, I made it home or something, and she probably hearted it. So I was like, why is she texting you? So now I'm like, they talking. In my mind, I'm thinking, I don't know what I'm thinking, okay? I'm going to tell y'all what I was thinking afterwards, okay? So fast forward to this same night. I'm like, we didn't sleep that night. I'm just up all night questioning her. Why is Tricky Trina texting you? Why? She was like, okay, all I know is earlier she sent me a message and said, are you all right? And I text her back and said, I'm good. And she hearted it. I deleted it because I didn't want you to see it. I'm like, that sounds crazy as shit. And at this point, I'm realizing that you have been lying to me a lot. We went squabbling over the phone. We fell down squabbling over the phone because she texted her. She grabbed my neck when I started questioning her about Tricky Trina texting her that night. When she grabbed my neck, mind you, we never had a fight in 18 years. In my mind, I'm thinking, oh, we fight now. Oh, we fight. Oh, guys, this is going to be against everything because I'm still going to court. But before you know it, I had socked her. Her hands were around my neck, and I socked up 2 times. And by the time I finished socking, she had 2 black eyes. I'm like, I didn't even know I hit that hard. But I guess when you're mad and you're angry, you don't even know your strength. So now she walking around with 2 black eyes. I felt so bad for her that I was like, I'm going to take you to the doctor or whatever, I was like, now I can't believe we're fighting. It's all of this stuff. So bam, the next day, I had to take my grandson to the airport and my son to the airport because they were flying to Florida to spend the weekend with my daughter. So I was like, perfect, because everybody's going to be gone. I'm going to drive them to the airport, and bam, on the way back from the airport, I'm about to listen to this recording because I need to know what's been going on. So guys, my grandson and my son missed their flight. So on the way back, I couldn't listen to no recording. So I was like, forget that. I'll just take my grandson to the parade with me because I was going to a parade that morning. I go to after the airport or whatever, I went on ahead, got my stuff together because I didn't want to go to this parade, but it's like a family thing with me and my friends, and I had all the food that I had to take. Normally when for for Mardi Gras, we have food, all this kind of stuff. We all show up. So I had all the food. And again, I don't want nobody to know that I'm having issues in my relationship. So I need to show up as if, nothing's happening. So I show up. I come home that evening. Her truck is gone. I'm like, where is she? When I asked her to go to the parade with me, she said she didn't want to go. And so she's been home all day and now she's gone. I put my grandson to bed and my son was in there with him, and I went and sat in the car. I went and sat in the car. I pulled up to racetrack. I ran in. I got me a bottle of Ciroc because, y'all, you got to realize I have been going through so much. I sat in the car and drunk the whole bottle of Ciroc while I listened to 5 days of recording. Starting with one day where they talked about how I walked in the room on them and almost caught them. They talked about, of course, I could tell my ex was really trying to get information out of her because my ex kept referring back to, oh, yeah, well, because she said she wasn't messing with this dude. She said she wasn't talking to him. I knew she was lying. And then the girl with Tricky Trina would say stuff like, oh, yeah, she was lying. She was. And that's why I don't understand why she was constantly questioning me about us when she's doing stuff. She blah, blah, blah. So she's constantly telling her all this stuff that I supposedly been doing. And that's why I couldn't tell you guys why I felt like nothing was going on before that date. That night, Tricky Trina told her on the recording, that's why I felt so confident to tell you that she was on the phone with a dude that night when we left the club. Mind you, my ex drove her car home. So we were in the car together. She said that I was on the phone with a dude the whole ride home. I didn't even know a dude to talk to at the time. Mind you, the Mike stuff happened 2 years prior. That was like 2 years. Tricky Trina had not been around me in so long that she didn't even know that I wasn't even talking to this guy anymore. Like, I didn't even know how to get in touch with him. That was over. And when I say talking to him, like, I had then finally, my ex told me he didn't need to be following me. She felt uncomfortable with it. I deleted him, blah, blah, blah. Nothing went anywhere. That was in the past. I heard my ex tell her, she's been crazy, and not the crazy that I like. My ex told her that she walked in on me in a tub crying, naked. I felt so violated that somebody I love and trust so much was on the phone sharing my personal information with an enemy. An enemy that came into my home to kill, steal, and destroy. I don't care. If somebody would have came and told me something about my ex, I would have listened because I want to know. But there's no way in the world that a bond this tight that I would turn around and become an enemy of my ex and betray my ex for an outsider with a hidden agenda. That devil came in my house to kill, steal, and destroy, and she attacked the weakest link. There's no way in the world my ex could have cheated on me. I was willing to take her back even after she cheated because I knew our foundation. They talked about, it was so much they talked about, guys, like their first encounter. They talked about the night that they spent together, the first night that my ex came home at 1 o'clock in the morning. They talked about how good the sex was. Tricky Trina even told my ex on one of the conversations that, she said that y'all's sex life wasn't, that I told her that me and my ex wasn't having a lot of sex and that her sex wasn't that good. And Tricky Trina said something on the lines of, she just don't know. Oh, well, maybe it's not good to her, but it was good to me. I was like, so now at this point, guys, I'm so full of emotions. Like, I'm calling everybody. Had I known better, I could have handled stuff completely different. Had I controlled my emotions, it's so important that we control our emotions, guys. Had I controlled my emotions, things would have been done completely different. I had just had a whole bottle of Ciroc. I had not eaten. My mind was already all over the place. This literally just validated everything. So I sat there at that gas station. I called my ex back to back, because at this point, I 100%, guys, this is what I was thinking. At this point, now, I'm ready to talk. There's nothing you can tell me. To make me believe that nothing happened between y'all. I heard it with my own ears. I know what's going on. Now we need to talk about how we about to break up. How we about to move around. Oh, rewind. That night, I looked my ex in the face after that text message came through. I looked her right in her eyes, the person who I trust more than anything in the world, and I said, Are you messing with my friend? She looked me right back in my eyes, a person who I trust, and said, I swear to God, Cindy, you never have that to worry about. I would never do that to you. I said, okay. I know Trina trying to get at my girl. But at this point, I knew she trying to get at my girl. But when I see her, I got something for her, right? So I was like, I deal with her when I see her. I'm not about to call her. I'm not about to confront her, because why am I confronting somebody who know what time it is, who know what they did, right? There's no need to confront her. So bam. Oh, excuse me. I hear the recording. I sat at racetrack for like 5 hours, guys, drinking and listening to all those messages. Bam, I'm calling my ex back to back. Can't control my emotions. I'm going crazy. My ex not answering, her location off. I call her friend, her best friend. Her best friend said, I talked to her. I know where she at. She all messed up, Cindy. She messed up. A lot going on, blah, blah, blah. I say, she know I know, huh? She say, she know you know. She just was kind of confirming that my ex messed up, blah, blah, blah. Here I go, well, when you talk to her, tell her I'm trying to get in touch with her. It's important. Like I'm telling her, I know stuff. I know this. I know that, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. So bam. I called Trina because at this point, my emotions are so high. I just got to get it out, right? I'm wasted. My emotions not telling me control yourself, because if you control yourself, you can come out this with a win. I've been lied to. I've been betrayed. Like, my emotions are high. I'm calling Trina. She not answering the phone. I'm blowing her up. She not answering the phone. I say, you know what? Forget that. I'm about to drive to her house. She gonna talk to me today. I'm about to ask her, I'm going at her, right? Yeah, me and her about to whatever. Her house is like 45 minutes away. Bam. This is so against the law. I probably shouldn't even tell this. But I was semi-drunk. Okay, no, take that back. I ain't incriminating myself. I was a little tipsy, okay? So I'm driving to her house, but mind you, she lived 45 minutes away. It's kind of in the boondocks. Now, I've been to her house, of course, before, right? So, and at this point, I got her physical address, but I'm just going off the top of my mind because I'm like, I had to end up pulling over, putting her physical address in, because it's like some kind of back roads I normally always have on GPS, or she's in a car with me and directing me or whatever. So I'm like, getting it. It's a house she had bought like a year ago, so it was fairly new, but of course I had been there before. Of course I had her address. Of course I knew where she stayed, and I'm going to tell you guys why I'm stressing this so much. She tried to lie and say I didn't know where she stayed at, but that was a plot. She told my ex just to get my ex to her house. Bam, I pull up on her street. Woo! Guess what I saw? my ex truck on side of her car in her parking lot, like they go together. I pull up, I look. Mind you, I never thought in a million years, come on now, if you're going to cheat on me, you're going to go to my ex-friend, you're going to go to my ex-friend's house knowing I know where she lives. You're going to go to my ex-friend's house knowing I could pull up at any time. And then you in there sleep. I could tell it was full of drugs because I jumped out the car. I bust all the windows out the truck, which was so stupid on my part because the truck in my name. It's my truck. So I bust my own windows. But guys, they never woke up. Never woke up. I'm heated at this point. Like, I'm out my mind. I'm just, imagine, like, if y'all can just imagine seeing this, going through this. Now, mind you, I just finished sitting here listening to, like, all of these recordings, like 5 hours worth of recordings. And when I say 5 hours, I mean over days. It was probably like 3 hours. This is over days of the recording only picking up their voice while I was gone. It was so much information that I got from those phone calls. Like, I don't even think I'm mad anymore. I think I'm just trying to plot my way out of this. I'm going to go ahead and end this video right here because I really, really got to go. But it's so much more to it. Okay, guys. So I know I had to rush out because I had to bring my grandbaby to his appointment. Look at him. He's asleep. Hold on. Let me show you guys. Aww. He's asleep. But anyway, I am going to finish this video. It's coming soon. The last part was, let's see, because I just left y'all hanging, right? So the last part was that I pulled up to her house, bust the windows out the car, and I proceeded to knock on the door, and her son opened the door for me. Her son opened the door for me, and I walked in. I walked into Tricky Trina's room, and bam, they were in the bed butt naked. My ex, Tricky Trina, was in the bed butt naked. Crazy thing is, the ex was so high. Mind you, I bammed on the door, right? Bammed on the door, bammed on the door. Bust windows. And let me tell you something. When you busting windows out of a truck with tinted in the windows, I had a bat that was in my trunk. It wasn't just busting. It was like, boom, boom. It sounded like gunshots. And I had to hit it over and over and over just to bust. So it's not like this was light. These heifers were still asleep. They was high as a kite. So I'm guessing what happened is they decided to get together and have a pill party. They were high as the Cooter Brown. Bam. Y'all, if y'all think this is a lot, the story gets worse. Like, it gets worse. It's so much, y'all. So y'all know I have to end this right here. So y'all, what has happened thus far is I caught them. I caught her texting one night. We scrambled over the phone. Mind you, like, it's just a lot. I know it's a lot. I know it's a lot to take in. So, excuse me. We scrambled over the phone at night. I end up going to the parade the next day. She stayed at home because at this point she got a black eye. And I knew that I just knew she wasn't going nowhere with a black eye. But when I came home and she was gone, I end up going to get me a drink, listening to all of the messages I said I wasn't going to listen to, hearing everything that I needed to hear, everything that I was so confused about. They was just talking about it on the phone so free and so clear. It was like, what? they just was going over it, like just talking about stuff. I did hear my ex say a lot of bad things about me that I didn't even know she had in her. She talked about my family. She talked about things that were personal to me and my family. It's like she immediately switched. She went from my person to Tricky Trina person immediately. Like, girl, you didn't even put up a fight for your family. It's like, I think I don't know. I'm starting to think she was hypnotized or something, or like something evil was going on, because she was not the same person. And even though, like, I really feel like whatever happened that night was bad, but I think my ex, she wanted, like, because she was so confused about what happened that night, that she was just so adamant about making it work and apologizing and all that stuff. But then Tricky Trina came in and was like, oh, I don't know why you feel bad because she did this, and that. My ex immediately switched sides. Like, girl, she had no fight for her family in her, none. It's like she was so weak that she just immediately switched sides. So, bam. I walked in, caught them naked in the bed, butt naked. Tricky Trina tried to run into the door. She jumped up. When I got in there, she jumped up and she was like, it's not what you look like. The fuck? What else could this be if it's not what it looked like? This snowballed out of proportion, blah, blah, blah. Bam. All right, guys, y'all stay tuned for this next video because it gets so juicy. All right, thank y'all so much for tuning into this super long video. I'm going to try to chop it up as much as I can to take like some of the out and the some of the crying out, because I know I like teared up a few times, had to stop. I had to stop, go get some tissue. I had to probably about 5 times throughout the video. I had to keep stopping because I could not stop getting emotional. I really thought the emotional part was over with. That's why I'm so comfortable doing this video now. But now I see that the emotional part is not over with. I still maybe feel something when I think about what happened. But I could tell you I'm in a good place. Like, I don't want her back or nothing. I'm healing. I feel good. I feel amazing. I feel so free. But it is still touchy, and it's so touchy because things get way worse. They get way worse. I mean, this devil does not stop. She start attacking my family like I did her something. And guess what? That little weak ex of mine, right on side of her. They start playing some dirty games. So y'all stay tuned. Y'all do me a favor and have an amazing day. Oh, wait. So before y'all have an amazing day, make sure y'all drop me some comments. I need all y'all comments. I need y'all to, at the end of this whole series, I'm going to do like I saw one of my supporters in the comments said I need to make bullet points so I can stop like going all over the place. I'm going to make some flashcards, do some bullet points, and just answer all the questions that you guys have that's been in the comments, because I know I missed a bunch of stuff, and I'm sure it's a whole bunch of comments or questions that people have that may fill in the blanks of what I missed. So drop your questions. I will be answering questions when the 3rd series is completely over. So I did 1. This is my 2nd. I got 1 more. And I got a little bonus to it, guys, because when I tell you it gets worse, it gets worse. All right, y'all. Stay tuned. Do me a favor and have an amazing day. Mwah!